Well, hello everybody. It's time for the Tech Informist. This is episode 72, recorded live on Wednesday, not Monday, May the 20th, 2015. My name is Kevin Harvell. I'm joined by Brad Whiteside. Brad, how are you today?
Kind of feels like a Monday, as tired as I am.
I hear you. Maybe it's the weather. It's
Oh
kind
no,
of
it's not maybe just the weather. It's because I stayed up so late playing the new expansion for Destiny. That's what that is.
yeah. You'll have to talk about that here in a little while. I'm
Sure.
curious to know what your thoughts. I know we've talked about, it's getting ready to come out, for a few episodes now, and it's available. So,
It is.
yes, yes. So, thank you everybody for tuning in, or whether you're tuning in live or you're checking this out after the fact, catching a replay, whether audio or, God forbid, you're actually watching the video replay, because I know I'm not exactly the greatest looking chap in the world, but hey, got Brad over there, that young stud.
Real quick, I just wanted to wish Evan a happy birthday, being as he's in the chat right now.
Yes, Evan.
So
Happy birthday, Evan. It's like everybody's birthdays this week. We had JJ's on Monday, Evan's is on Wednesday. Not sure whose birthday it is on Friday. I'm sure somebody's birthday is on Friday. But for those of you tuning in, the Tech Informist is a show, in which we like to talk about some of the daily tech news that's coming out across our RSS feeds. There's a lot of great things going on in the world. Some things you may already know, and some things you may not know, because we don't all follow the same feeds and websites and social media accounts. So we like to kind of mix things up. Some of the things that you do, some of the things you may not have heard. So moving on, you can get involved with the show every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at noon Eastern Standard Time by visiting thetechinformist.com/live. So that's noon Eastern Standard Time. You can give us comments, suggestions, feedback via email at contact@thetechinformist.com or via social media. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Google+, Instagram, wherever you prefer to do your social media experience, we'll say. So we'll go ahead and move into the tech news stories of the day. Brad, go ahead and kick this off with Dropbox.
yeah, so Dropbox becomes a universal app on Windows and Windows Phone, which is a very much needed update from what I hear. I don't use Dropbox personally. I like SkyDrive. But the reason I put this in here is because they chose to do a universal app.
And what services that do you like to use?
OneDrive. Did I say SkyDrive?
You said SkyDrive, dude. You're gonna have that broadcast company sue you or something for
yeah, I know.
infringement.
This is how long I've been using it. It was SkyDrive before. So anyway, yeah, I'm really excited because once again, it is a universal app now, so that gives it the opportunity to, I guess, even come to the Xbox at some point if they wanted to do that. But as of right now, it's on the Windows Phone and the Windows Store, and it got a good slew of updates that I can't really speak to personally. But the reason, once again, that I put this in here is I feel that the competition towards OneDrive is good in the ecosystem. In fact, I think Microsoft tends to agree because they have a bunch of support for Dropbox with it being able to link into Office and anything of that nature. And they seem to like help it out or cultivate it and, help it grow. And that's good. This is the new Microsoft once again. So I don't, it's just not a unnatural or unnormal thing for Microsoft to do anymore.
Yeah, it's one of those things, again, they're continuing this pattern of, we would prefer you to use our own services, but if for some strange reason you're using a competitor's service, you can still use that if you're using our devices and equipment.
Yeah, exactly. And that's, in a way, unlike Google's stance on most things. If you're using the Google phone, all their apps have to be installed and in order for the OEMs to use said phone, which in a way, if you think about it, that's kind of how iOS and Windows Phone works anyways. But just not to that degree, I guess. I don't know.
Right.
What do you think about Dropbox being a universal app?
I mean, I think it's a good idea, and you know, I don't, I'm like you. I don't use Dropbox. I use my OneDrive as well. Just for some reason, Dropbox was the one, uh, storage option that I've really never got into, and I really don't know why. I would use copy.com or I would use box.com,
I
and
know a lot of business customers tend to use Dropbox.
yeah, Dropbox is great. Don't get me wrong. It's just I just did not want to, I didn't feel that the free option was enough, and I really didn't feel like paying for it. So
Yeah, I mean, well, the one subscription I do pay for is Office 365, which
right.
in turn gives you basically unlimited storage. It doesn't like tell you unlimited right now. I'm sure it will eventually, but like once you get to a certain point, it'll be like you have 1 terabyte available, then it jumps up to 10 terabytes, and then after that, I don't know if anybody really knows because they haven't reached that point yet.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, nobody I know has got that much stored. I'm working
No.
on it though. I'm working on it.
Right. But the other thing that I maybe wanted to mention is I don't know if you've noticed, but has there just been like this huge resurgence of apps coming to the store? Like there just seems to be all these apps and like new ones even coming to the store recently. Like
Yeah,
I don't
whether
know.
it's new ones or just big updates.
Yeah, I don't know if maybe Microsoft Build has anything to do with that. But another thing, a lot of people like that are first coming to the store for the first time are just completely rewriting code and doing it from the ground up on Windows instead of like just drag and dropping from iOS or Android, which I also find really interesting because I thought that was like a big selling point, but it seems like they're more interested in the Universal app, which is good.
Yeah, which I'm glad. Like the developer of Pocket Cast. I mean, he built that thing from the ground up. And,
Oh man, if that comes to Windows, I am grabbing that again.
well, I would kind of think that if you've already bought it for Windows Phone, if they do make it universal, I would like to think they'll just say, "All right, hey, it's also available. You've already purchased it."
Well, that's also up to the discretion of the developer too.
Yeah, that's
if
true.
they feel like they, took too much time or need a little extra money for like maybe it's 99 cents if you bought it once. Still, once again, even if it's $4, I'm going to buy it again. It's great. It's a fantastic podcast app.
Yeah. I know I've given them $12 of my money, so I've got it on Windows Phone, iOS, and Android as well.
There you go.
But it's funny looking at this article from Windows Central about the image that Daniel Rubino used for this. It's got that big Microsoft mug. It's the same one that I've got. Love that mug.
Yeah, it's like a 20-ounce mug. It's big.
Oh, it holds a lot of coffee.
You can put a pint of beer in it.
Nice. All right, well, we'll just move on and get this other Microsoft story out of the way. Xbox One TV Tuner is now available in the United States and Canada, available for $59.99. Or at the Microsoft Store, you can get a bundle with an antenna for $99.99. So, according to this story from The Verge, last month Microsoft announced that Xbox One owners in North America would soon be able to watch live via an over-the-air antenna, which is a feature that's already been available in other countries. So today, the company is rolling out an Xbox-branded TV tuner manufactured by Hauppauge that, and I could be pronouncing that incorrectly, so I apologize, that serves as an inexpensive gateway into the world of free over-the-air TV reception. TV tuner costs $59.99, which is a pretty great price in its own right. And since you'll also need an antenna to get started, Microsoft Store is offering a bundle with both pieces of hardware for $99.99. Now, what you'll be able to do with this is pause live TV for up to 30 minutes. Currently no DVR recording. And you can also watch TV in a smaller, snapped window on the right side of your screen while you're playing your favorite games. And Microsoft automatically pulls down a guide listing based on your zip code, and TV can, of course, be controlled with Connect voice commands. So that's pretty cool. But simply buying the TV tuner and antenna does not guarantee you'll get a strong over-the-air signal. But there is a website out there, GOMOHU.com/Xbox to see exactly which channels are available in your area.
Uh,
Is this something you think you might get for your
oh,
Xbox?
absolutely. As soon as this came out in Europe, I'm like, I want that. I mean, we don't have nearly the amount of channels over the air the way they do, but it would just be nice to have that option. Like, hey, the ball game is actually on, regular TV. I can actually turn it on and watch it. But yeah, this definitely interests me, and I will be getting one because we actually got an antenna last night for it. So now I just need to go pick up the tuner.
All right. So
Looks
for
like I'll
another
be heading
$60.
Yeah, it looks like I'll be heading to the Microsoft store this weekend.
All right. Good. All right. So let's talk a little bit about classic games. Now, both Brad and myself, we really do enjoy video games. Obviously, Brad gets to play more than I do because, well, he talks about these games and he's got an Xbox One and stuff like that. But let's talk, Brad, about this retro console the story that you got here.
So this has to be like every retro gamer's like dream come true. But there's a retro console called Retro Freak that will be able to play anything from Super Nintendo to Genesis, PC Engine, TurboGrafx 16, Game Boy, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, and even the Super Graphics. And that's a lot of stuff to stuff into one console. But I mean, we're at the point to where I could see this, being technology is feasible. Now, here's the downside. As of right now, this is only going to be in Japan, but I don't see any reason as to why this couldn't come here too. I mean, the Nintendo, Japanese console, it still came here, so I don't know. I'm hopeful that we would see something either similar or the exact same one in like a Western version. This really is exciting, simply because GameStop is going to, start doing the old games again, all the way back to the original Nintendo. So this, coupled with that, it will be a home run, really.
Yeah, that would be. Now, I mean, I've seen kind of like these remakes of, Nintendo consoles, and even the ones that have the Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis in the same, unit. You can buy those. I think they're like $60 or anywhere between 50 and 100.
Yeah, it like plays. I want to say regular Nintendo, Super Nintendo, and Sega all bundled into one.
Yeah, which I'd actually like to have one of those if it can use like original controllers and stuff like that. Because I don't know.
Oh yeah, that's true. I wonder how the controllers hook up and like what kind of controllers you could use.
Yeah. I mean, I know for this console thing that you're talking about, it supports USB controllers, so you can plug just about anything in there. Which that would be nice and convenient.
Yep. That alone, it's just lots of cool stuff. I thought that you guys would be interested in hearing something about that, and let us know. Like, is this something that you would go out and buy like right away if it was just at that perfect price point? I know some people are still into the classic games, and some of those games just are on no digital, platform of any kind. So for them to, be able to be played again is pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm just a really big fan of, classic games. I spent hours and hours of my childhood playing games like Bases Loaded, Baseball Stars. I was always a big sports game, Tecmo, Super Bowl, and stuff like that.
Well, you would like RBI Baseball. That's on the Xbox One.
Yeah, I've actually played it on Android. I bought it last year, and it was pretty good. It was pretty good for what it was.
Real quick story to that point. Yesterday we beat the Mets 10-2, the Cardinals, and my buddy. What's cool with RBI Baseball is if you play the full 162 games of the season, it has the exact same schedule lineup that matches with the real life season.
Right.
So my buddy played the Mets last night on his console to catch up with the season, and he beat them 10-2. I just thought that was really funny.
Yeah, I've tried doing that in the past where you'll play try to play the video game schedule and keep up with the major league schedule, but life always gets in the way, and
Oh, yes, yes, it
it can
does.
be a challenge trying to keep up if you try to do it on a day by day basis and stuff like that. But yeah, it's
He's
fun.
got a little more extra time on his hand than I do, so he probably wakes up, goes, plays a game, done for the day.
Yeah, some people have that free time. I'm not one of those people.
I'm not either.
So
Well, sort of.
with classic gaming, I mean, did you really spend a whole lot of time with the original Nintendo?
So that was my first console at the ripe age of, I want to say, 3.
Okay.
And I had that for quite some time. Actually, that I had that up to the point of, I want to say, the Nintendo 64. Well, my mom actually got me a Super Nintendo, which was at her house. So I got to play that occasionally, but not as much as I would have liked.
Okay.
But when the 64 hit, I mean, that was when our gaming habits really took off, between Super Mario 64, Star Fox 64, Super Smash Brothers, and Perfect Dark, and let's not forget GoldenEye. I mean,
No, you can't. It's like the
everyone
original
played that for
first-person
hours.
shooter. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was just this first-person shooter that just, I know Doom was definitely one of the first, and I think Wolfenstein.
Yeah, Castle Wolfenstein.
Yeah. But like GoldenEye was kind of that modern first-person shooter. It kind of set the bar, so to speak, for that era. And then Call of Duty, years and years later, set the bar higher. And it still is kind of reigning champion in a way. But yeah, I'd say the Nintendo 64 is where I really started to pick up gaming big time.
Yeah, I still regret trading in my Super Nintendo and stuff for a Nintendo 64.
I regret trading any of my old Nintendo consoles in. Honestly, I like to collect things, so like that was one of those things that I wish I would have held on to and collected.
I've still got my original Nintendo.
Oh, lucky you!
Yeah, and it was actually a replacement because my first one, just I remember it conked out on me, and we had to go, exchange it. And,
I also had the original Game Boy, but it wasn't the gray color. It was like a nice red, like fire red color, and it matched the original Pokemon game cartridge like perfectly. So I don't know if you guys remember, but the Game Boy didn't have a backlight. You had to use a magnifying glass with a little light on it, and had all these accessories that went with it, and it had a big bag that you put everything in, and
yeah, I had
held
that
all your
big,
games.
the big old fat
It's like a
Game Boy. Yeah,
It was like a dang purse for a gaming system.
yeah. I used to love Tetris on that. It was Tetris and
Tetris, Metroid, and Pokemon.
okay. For some reason, I never really got into the Pokemon games.
I think you're a little too old for that.
No, I mean, it's it's a role playing game. It's an RPG.
Yeah,
kind of.
that's true.
So, I mean, you level up your characters and you collect other ones and do various things.
I am surprised that you maybe not have gotten into that so much. But did you ever watch the show though?
Yeah, here and there.
Yeah, I still watch the show. Well, not the new stuff, but I go back and watch the old stuff for nostalgic reasons.
Yeah, some of the newer stuff, I'll flip it on for my stepson, and it's like, what has happened to Pokemon?
I don't even know.
What has
I
happened?
stopped watching. Let's see, when they got to like the 3rd generation of Pokemon, and that's about when I kind of started to fall off of the of knowing what's actually going on in the show.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, let's move on to some smartwatch updates. The very first Apple Watch update has launched. It was available starting yesterday. And what this update brings is, now this is Watch OS. This is 1.0.1. It's improved performance for Siri, measuring stand activity, calculating calories for indoor cycling and rowing workouts, distance and pace during outdoor walk and run workouts, accessibility, and third-party apps. And you can also display support for new emoji characters and additional language support for Brazilian Portuguese, Danish, Dutch, Swedish, Russian, Thai, and Turkish. So I know some people have actually reported that, you get a little bit better, like smoother performance. So it kind of like a little bit more optimization, which, you would have to expect that they would push into this. So I'd really like to know people's thoughts on this new update and the new version of Android Wear, which is 5.1.1, is starting to roll out with bringing Wi-Fi support and emoji to not all Android Wear devices will get emoji or Wi-Fi support. But so that is starting to roll out.
That's interesting, having your watch have Wi-Fi in it.
Yeah, the update should come to all Android Wear smartwatches, but Wi-Fi support won't be as widespread. Currently, only the LG Urbane, Moto 360, Sony Smartwatch 3, and the Samsung Gear Live will support Wi-Fi. The G Watch R and I guess the G Watch, well, the G Watch R does have a Wi-Fi chip inside it, but for now it won't work. Though LG told Android Police that might change someday.
Very interesting. I don't have too much to say about it because I've never had a Android Wear. Of course, I've never had an Apple one either. So
yeah, and a couple other things from this update is that it can work in Android Wear's black and white ambient mode, and so far only Google Keep has worked for us with that. But apparently, Google Maps is getting installed on some watches as well, and should support the new mode.
is that kind of like glance, or is that kind of like a low power mode?
It's kind of a low power.
Oh, okay, that's kind of cool. Yeah, because everybody knows those batteries run out quick on those dang things.
Oh, yeah, they do.
Especially with those pretty screens.
Yes, yeah, they do. They run out pretty fast.
The thing that's interesting, now that I think about it, everybody was expecting the Apple Watch to kind of set the bar once again for the watches. But honestly, they kind of just caught up with Android rather than jump ahead of everybody this time. And that's almost a first in a way. Because it always seems like everyone else is trying to catch up to Apple. But I'm starting to see a pattern where that's not really the case right now. Like, Android has been doing this for a couple years now.
Well, Android Wear's been out for coming up on 1 year.
Okay, that's right. Yeah.
And in a way, really, you can say the Apple Watch implements more things than Android Wear currently does. So Android Wear does have a little catching up to do when it comes to things.
Yeah, which in any case, it wouldn't take them much to catch up, though, compared to, like, let's say when they first brought out the iPhone, nobody had anything close to that. In fact, Android looked very much like BlackBerry. So, I just, yeah, it's just interesting that, well, for instance, they've got the, all these new updates coming out for the watch. I mean, they're definitely implementing lots of new stuff like the Wi-Fi. I think that's kind of interesting for a watch. I mean, essentially, I guess that would make it to where you could be like in a warehouse, and if the warehouse has Wi-Fi, you could be across the way and still get notifications on your watch via Wi-Fi from your phone sitting on your desk back in the office.
Yeah, theoretically. I mean, I would love to see how this is actually going to work out and try it out. When it does, I'm not sure if my LG G watch is actually going to get it. Doesn't sound like it will.
Does the Apple Watch have Wi-Fi in it? Or is it Bluetooth only? I'm curious about that.
I am not 100% sure on that, so I don't want to speak on that.
Yeah.
I don't want to speak incorrectly.
If anybody in the chat knows, that'd be cool.
Yeah. I don't know. Daryl says his first console was a Sega Dreamcast, which I love that Dreamcast. I don't know why.
I always knew somebody who had a Sega of some kind. I never owned Sega. Not that it was like bad or anything. I was always a Nintendo guy, so I was more familiar with that. But my cousin would always have one, and then I had a few friends that actually had a Dreamcast. And man, when that came out, that thing was shiny.
Oh yeah, it was a great console. It is a great console. All right, so let's move on and talk about KFC, of all things.
So, I don't know how this is even a thing, but apparently it is. KFC puts keyboards in their trays so greasy chicken fingers can keep typing and texting. They do it via Bluetooth, and apparently it's a disposable mat of some kind. Once again, I don't know how they make it disposable, but they have, and it seems to work. So I don't know how like far and implemented this is yet, but just the fact that it's even remotely a thing is kind of weird.
Yeah, looking in the story, it looks like for you German listeners, looks like they tried it for a week, where restaurants line their serving trays with disposable Bluetooth keyboards instead of paper liners. The idea is that you sync the keyboard to your phone before eating a plate of fried chicken, granting you the ability to type and respond to text messages without greasing up your poor smartphone screen.
Yes, and with our newly implemented update for Windows Phone, you can connect the keyboard via Bluetooth.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know about this. This is
it's kind of weird. I mean, it's cool in one way, but it's kind of like just what in another way.
Yeah, it's like, why would a company spend that money for that? Because, as like this article points out from Gizmodo, if the screen times out, you still have to touch your phone.
That's very true. I didn't think about that.
Or if someone sends you a message in a different app, and it's like, yeah, okay. But it's funny they would do it over in Germany.
Oh yeah, go figure. It's always somewhere in Europe that they get.
Yeah, take an American company and put it over in a foreign country, and yeah,
it's really interesting that KFC is like really big in Japan, and I'm not exactly sure why. Maybe they have a slightly different menu, but like they are really big over there. I don't know what to compare it to over here, but I mean, I guess McDonald's in a way, but they were really big over in Japan.
Yeah.
So I could definitely see something like that moving to Japan next.
Yeah, it would be. It's interesting. I mean, I like the idea that they're trying to do some strange things. But.
Well, I mean, even in the article mentions, as weird as it is, this little gimmicky kind of thing worked, and got people to come in to check it out and use it.
Right. So. Yeah, and that's what they want to do: sell more chicken. Yeah. All right, so let's move on and talk about LG's new OLED TV that you.
So, you guys know I'm a fan of LG and all their displays. Their displays are just gorgeous. And there was a new TV that they showed off. And it's 1 millimeter thick, not centimeter, millimeter. And basically you can stick it to the wall like a fridge magnet, which that's incredible. And the fact that it's 1 millimeter thick is another incredible thing. And being as it's this flexible, I mean, so to take it off the wall, it's like a magnet. It's just flexible. You just peel it off, basically. But being as it is this flexible, it makes it harder to damage and easy to curve if you want that curve effect or whatever. But they are planning on, or the CEO has vowed to, ramp up production on these OLEDs, because OLED is expensive right now, but they want to make it cheaper for customers to have. And with that being said, they vow to ramp up production and make it cheaper for everyone to afford.
Wow. Yeah.
I mean, what do you think of this? This kind of blows my mind in a way.
Yeah, the whole idea. I mean, the thing weighs, it says 1.9 kilograms. Now, wow. I'm not sure exactly what you compare it to for 1.9 kilograms, but that does not seem very heavy at all.
No. Let's see. Well, when I'm mixing paint, it's always by grams, and about the most I ever mix is about 300 grams. So, it's like a 32 ounce bottle of water in weight.
Okay. That's not bad.
Yeah, somewhere around there, I would guess.
And it also says LG's planning on pushing OLED and will introduce a whopping 99-inch OLED screen this summer. That's insane.
That's awesome.
99
Wish I could afford that.
Inches.
Oh my goodness, Kitty, come here.
Cat wants to bother you again.
Oh yes, he wants all kinds of pets right now, so I'm gonna sit him on my lap.
All right, so let's go on to the final story, and it has to do with Spotify. Now, this is something we just seen just a little while ago. Now, again, just for clarification, I am not a Spotify user. I've only just, dabbled with it and not really spent much time at all. But Spotify now will do videos and podcasts. So, obviously, the show being a podcast, it looks like there's another way that you can, check out the Tech Informist. We hope we'll have to look into that and see how that all works. So, according to this article from The Verge, Spotify is no longer just a music service. And on stage in New York City today, the company shared its new goal of finding the perfect content to accompany every moment in your day. CEO Daniel Ek said his company is taking a massive leap forward that goes beyond the conventional formats. Ek and his fellow executives showcased a new version of Spotify that's more closely aligned with Songza, with playlists tailored for a listener's day. But it's not just limited to music. The new Spotify also brings podcasts to what was previously just a music app and a new video capsule offering streaming videos from partners like Comedy Central, Vice News, and The Nerdist. Essentially, Spotify wants to become your all-in-one jukebox for everything.
That's a really good move on their part. I'm really all for it. I don't use Spotify either, but this is a really good idea. Because, I mean, for instance, I don't listen to music as much as I used to, but having podcasts on there, it's like you don't necessarily have to have a separate app for podcasts at that point.
Right.
And that could be good or bad depending on the way you look at it. I mean, I really enjoy Pocket Cast, so I wouldn't see myself necessarily using the Spotify app for that, but the fact that they're putting it in there is kind of cool.
Yeah, it depends on how easy it is to actually like find or browse podcasts and things like that.
That's a very good point. Yeah.
I mean, at least in Pocket Cast, you can simply search.
Yeah, with Pocket Cast, I have had no issues finding anything. Like everything pops up exactly how it's supposed to.
Yeah,
and that's good. I've had other podcast apps that when you go to search for something, it doesn't pull up maybe art for it, which I know that's little, but I'm a little like picky on that. And it also doesn't pull up just that episodes or anything in general sometimes, depending on which app you use.
Yeah, sometimes it will not find a certain show and you have to manually input the RSS feed and things like that. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So it's good. I mean, the Windows Phone podcast app is kind of notorious for not being able to find certain shows by simply searching.
Yes, but then I have used like Stitcher, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
There's one specific podcast app that it just will not find. It just does not even exist on there. And I mean, maybe it doesn't, but it is IGN's Destiny podcast app. And it's called Fireteam Chat. It will not show up on there. It shows up on my Windows Phone perfectly. It shows up on Pocket Cast perfectly. But yeah, so.
Okay. And just real quick, I know you're a big Bill Nye Science guy and Neil deGrasse Tyson. The Science Guy talks about his space sail.
Yeah, the light sail that's launching this month, I believe, if it hasn't launched already. I forgot. But so this light sail is basically a super cheap way to move things if you have, let's say, time to move things at a slow rate, because it's not exactly fast, it's more efficient than anything. So these light sails, they're going to send up one this year, and then the information they gather from using the light sail this year, they're going to launch another one next year. So really exciting stuff. This is actually the same light sail that Carl Sagan, if you guys anyone know who that is, it's kind of like Neil deGrasse Tyson's mentor in a way and friend. But this is the same concept that he like brought up back in the, I want to say the 80s. So for them to implement it and launch it is pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's kind of like his dreams realized in a way.
Yeah, so this is actually kind of interesting stuff there. Not really sure what all they're going to be able to do with this, but yeah, definitely would like to keep up with that as this kind of moves forward. Let's see, anything else really going on? Oh, just to quickly circle back to the Sunrise app that I talked about big time on a recent episode. I did check it on Android, and it has that Meet feature for easily scheduling things, and it is also available in the Mac app. So I was able to do that as well on my Mac yesterday. I'm like, yes, it's all there. So one of the best calendar apps just keeps getting better. Right. So is there anything else you'd like to throw in there today, sir?
Well, so for instance, the reason I have a little lack of sleep is because the new Destiny DLC launched,
Okay.
and I was up pretty late playing that. And
Irresponsible.
yeah, that's why coffee is delicious this morning. But it's so if you know anything about Destiny, there are in each expansion, it's kind of been like there's set amount of things, and then there's a new raid, and raids are like this huge 6-man team where you get like the best gear out of the game, and they're lots of fun. Unfortunately, this time around, they didn't have time to implement a raid, and they kind of cut it out, and there was a lot of people worried about this expansion, being as fun or as good as the past ones. And I say they did it because I want to go back for more tonight.
Nice.
We played through all the new storyline, which was pretty cool. It definitely has a different feel from all the other ones, so that's good too. Lots of cool things that they're kind of fixing in the world. I don't want to go too far in depth because I don't want to bore anybody who's not a huge fan of Destiny or gaming for that matter. But just, if you are, check it out for sure. I know Microsoft had a really cool deal where you could get the full game and both expansions for like $68, which is pretty cool because I kind of bought it for a premium of like $100 at launch. So I don't really have to pay for it now. I kind of already paid for it, so
nice. Check
it was like the special edition. It was something I saved up for over the summer, so it's not like I just boom $100 make the money fly.
Yeah. So how many download or how many update packs have they released for since it launched?
They have 2 DLC. They update it constantly. I want to say every month, almost like Microsoft. They just regularly update and fix things and add things. But yeah, so I mean, lots of support, and then there's rumors of them talking about new stuff at E3. So maybe like a second round of DLC coming, maybe later this year / into next year, so that's to look forward to. And for us Xbox people, there are some PlayStation exclusives that will be coming later this year as well, so it'll be like one huge package of cool stuff coming instead of just like maybe a slightly smaller package of cool things. But yeah, so lots of things to look forward to and lots of fun. I'm definitely going back for more, like I said.
All right. Nice. So I'm glad you're enjoying that, and I hope everybody else does as well. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about. I only got a few app and entertainment picks on the schedule today, so I'll go ahead and go first. Now, this app is for iOS, so pretty much for iPhones, and it's a way to make it easier to get, exchange people's phone numbers. So, for example, this app is called Digits. Now, in the App Store, it is spelled DGTS, just so it's digits without the 2 I's. And it's actually developed by a local St. Louis developer. And you hand over your phone, and they punch in their phone number. And whenever they put that in there, they can also take like a little selfie picture right there within the app. And then it automatically sends that person gets a text. So, that's how you exchange your information and get in each other's contact list. It just kind of helps simplify that. Yeah, it actually works really well. So I've used it a few times here I just found out about it on Friday. I was actually talking with a developer at a happy hour, and he was showing it to me. I'm like, that's pretty nice. So I've used it and actually have grabbed a few phone numbers from some new people and had them do that, and works really well. You can integrate it with Facebook and import all photos and stuff for your contacts.
Yeah, that would be really good for business customers, I would assume.
Yes,
Or
yes.
entrepreneurs, if you will.
Yeah, and it actually tells it kind of like checks in, kind of like Swarm, where whenever they put that in, it says you met this person at such and such place.
Oh, okay.
Wherever it is. So
that helps definitely stimulate your brain saying, hey, this was this person, don't you remember? You met him here.
Yeah, exactly. So it works well. Digits without the I's. So DGTS, available currently only on iOS, but I believe they're looking to make it on Android as well.
Cool stuff.
Yeah.
Lo and behold, my pick is a game. Go figure. But it's actually kind of cool, especially for those of you who are into Age of Empires at all, and you have anything Windows. This is a game for you. Age of Empires Castle Siege. Now, I haven't personally played it, so I can't speak to it too much, but my buddies have been playing it quite a bit, so I could see myself getting into this very soon. But basically, it's free to play, and you build up your castle like you would on any castle, Age of Empires. And you have little attacks that come, and you have to defend it, and you occur gold every day for logging in and getting materials and whatnot. But the really cool thing is this is on Windows 8 and Windows Phone, and it's actually only on those right now. I don't see any reason why I wouldn't go to the others eventually. But the reason it's really cool is if you are playing it on your phone, you can put that down when you get home and actually get on a tablet or your computer and keep playing exactly where you left off of. And games like that are really cool to me.
Yeah, that's the way it needs to be.
Absolutely. So once again, it's free to play. So there's little transactions and micro, transactions and fees, and not fees, but little things you can buy in the game to help your game progress faster or be easier. Right. And if you want to pay a little bit just for having a little bit of fun, I'd encourage it, because it seems like a pretty cool game.
Yeah, it's either pay or be patient. You got your options. If you want to hurry things up, you can pay real money. And if
time is money, Kevin. Time is money.
Time is money. Time is money. That's for sure. All right. Well, that pretty much does it, I think, for this episode. Unless you got anything else you'd like to throw out there real quick.
Nope. Kind of a short one today. That's okay, though.
All right. So that, again, pretty much does it for this episode. We thank you all for listening and or watching later. I'd like to thank everybody in the chat. Again, Evan, happy birthday. Daryl, thanks for joining us and pushing off those customer calls. We appreciate it. So, again, you can send us feedback to contact@thetechinformist.com. And we still have our straw poll going. Let's just real quickly look and see where we're at on that status. Let's load it up, sign in, and all right. So with our current responses, we are at, now the question was, do you like the name switch from Windows Phone to Windows Mobile? And currently 59% of people say yes, they do like the name switch. So it's 59% yes and 40% no. So I don't know where the other 1% of you are at, but I guess that 1%, like they say, probably just a little too much money and don't want to spend time filling out a poll. The 1%ers.
Yep.
All right, which I am not a part of, unfortunately. All right, so again, we'll have that link in the show notes as well for you to go and vote on that. And well, I guess
going for a week, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess it's going to go actually a little longer than a week.
Oh, okay.
Just because we don't have an episode on Monday.
That's true. That'll kind of reset it. If we could get to the point to where maybe we put a poll up on the Friday, that way it'll roll over on the weekend and then go back to next Friday, that would be cool. So maybe start the next one up on a Friday.
Yeah,
That way it'd be a nice kind of, close out the week. Here's the poll for the weekend. Check it out,
Yeah, that's what we'll do. We'll close this one out on Friday and start the new one on Friday as well.
Yeah.
So, all right. I am Kevin Harvell. You can find me on Twitter at Kevin Harvell. And Brad, where can people find you?
Brad Whiteside, and I'm on Twitter also at holy_shadows. And if you want to play some games, hit me up and maybe we'll play something. Xbox Live also at Holy Shadows, and that's just without the underscore basically. So.
All right. So there you have it. There you are, folks. Again, thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. And until next time, consider yourself informed. We're out.
Take care, guys.